Hi everyone, it's Al Tricasso again, and today I come to you with a very troubling few minutes to speak to you about. As most of you know, Russia has backed Russian separatists in taking over property and killing people in the Ukraine. Today is July 29th, 2014, and just today, the President of the United States and the European Union, and also Australia, the Netherlands is in Europe, but also Australia and other countries, have extended and increased sanctions on the Russian government because of the murders, war, and war crimes that's going on, and you might as well say civil war that's going on in the Ukraine. And I am very concerned because the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, is putting the globe in a very dangerous position if we do not do enough, whether it is economic sanctions or whatever need be. If the United States and other countries do not do enough, Russia will absolutely continue their intrusion, not only into the Ukraine, but they will seek to recreate and take over once more the entire former Soviet Union. It may not happen in the next year or even the next 20, but they will slowly incur upon all of the former Soviet bloc. We must not allow this, but the options are quickly becoming frightening. If the economic and diplomatic issues, sanctions cannot resolve the situation, is my great fear that we may end up into a global war conflict, which in turn could end up killing every human being on the planet. It could end up being a nuclear war. These words I say to you are excessively frightening. So I would say to all of you, if you have a faith, which regardless of who it is, Jesus, Allah, I don't care who it is, get closer to that faith so that if the worst happens, you can reside in paradise. Your soul can reside in paradise. Now let me say this. I believe there are diplomatic solutions. I believe Vladimir Putin will come to his senses, and he will eventually pull back, withdraw, and all of this crisis will be gone. But let me also say this. I call upon the Russian citizens to start legally and peacefully protesting in the streets, boycotting a lot of the government subsidized companies and what have you. It is you, the citizens of Russia, that need to bring the government of Russia to common sense and negotiations. You have the power to do so. You created and caused the revolution. You've accomplished perestroika. You have accomplished progressive policies and started to have good democracies and even capitalism. Do not let a backwards, warmongering, power-seeking government, in particular President Vladimir Putin, destroy all of your accomplishments. I call upon the Russian citizens to take legal, peaceful action. And yes, I realize that it may not always be peaceful. I deplore violence of all kinds. But I also do not want to see the end of humanity on this planet. So I call upon the Russians to take action. Now, I will address Vladimir Putin himself. Mr. Putin, and I will not dignify you with the word president. You do not deserve it. You have not held my respect for the actions you have taken upon yourself and have made your government do. Mr. Putin, you must start realizing that what you are causing could end all life, including yours and mine, on the face of this earth. We have the capability in the United States, as do you, as do the Ukrainians and many other countries, including China and India and Pakistan and Israel. Combined, we have the capability to blow up the entire planet 7 or 8 times or more, probably 100 times, and no one will survive. And if by chance they do go underground and they do survive, and you survive, you will end up on a planet that will never have beauty again. Do not let it come to this. You must understand that this is a new world, a world of peace, a world, and I know I don't pronounce it correctly, where you can have leadership and you do not need to grab at power. We do not have any hatred towards you, but we hate your actions. I ask you to come back to the world community, to withdraw every troop, to throw out the support of the separatists, and to give the Ukrainian people the dignity and respect and self-destination, that's not the word I'm looking for, self-destiny and autonomy, whatever the word may be, to guide their own futures. Leave them alone. Come back and negotiate. Now I will speak to the Ukrainian people. To the Ukrainian people. We are with you. I care about all of you. I hold no ill will towards the Russian citizens, except those who are the separatists who have murdered, terrorized, and committed acts of terror and war crimes. You must be held accountable. But to the Russian people, I know that you want to live in peace and seek peace. To the Ukrainians, hang in there. We will not abandon you. To anyone who watches this episode and wonders, how can one man who may only have 1 or 2 people see his video, how can one man have the audacity to believe that what his words he says would matter? I will ask you by asking you a question. Answer that by asking you a question. Do you think when Rosa Parks, one of the leaders of the great civil rights movement, do you think when she sat down in that bus, she was thinking about starting a civil rights movement? No. She was thinking, my feet are tired, I'm sitting down. And she had every right to do so. Do you think that when Gandhi started out fighting for civil liberties and rights for all people, that he said, well, I got to do this? No. And others heard his voice little by little, as with Rosa Parks. And then they found great leaders, and the world changed. So yes, my voice that may be heard by 1 or 2 people, it may be the 2 people who take action. And then they make a video, and then the next thing you know, leaders around the globe start emerging one by one until our voices are heard on a global scale. So yes, it may seem bizarre that I would take this action, and speak these words. But consider the fact that no historic change has ever happened without the actions of one single human being. We would not have had civil rights. We would not have had our apartheid end if it were not for the actions of one single human being that ended up but having a grassroots movement that actually caused an action. So I would say to you, if you believe that the actions of Russia, or in particular the Russian government, Vladimir Putin to be exact, you think that they're illegal, if they're acts of war and war crimes and terrorism, speak out. If you don't want to have your voice, take this video and share it. You don't want to use your voice. I not only grant you the permission to share it everywhere, I encourage it. Share it. Share it around the globe. I do not want to see humanity end on this great planet. I do not want to see one more Russian, one more Ukrainian, one more African, one more Muslim, one more Christian, one more Jew killed over politics, over religion, or for any reason. We must come together and love. That is what we must do, the globe over. With that, there's nothing more to say. I'm going to ask you to go to www.humanitymatters.org, and I'm going to ask you to pray for the entire globe. If I scared you, it is a reality, but it is a reality that we can avert, and I ask you to help ensure that we do. Thank you, and good evening.